Welcome to the Let's Ruin It podcast, where we take your favorite pop culture media, put a legal spin on it, and like all lawyers, we ruin it. Hi, I'm one of your hosts. My name is Diana, and I'm joined today by my co-hosts.
Hi, I'm Jenny.
Hey, I'm Liz.
And we are so happy to tell you that we are finally ruining a movie that many of you have requested.
It's the number one requested movie.
It's constantly requested, and we really,
honestly near and dear.
we needed to really get our ducks in a row and do some research and familiarize ourselves with this area of law to really ruin it perfectly for you. We are doing My Cousin Vinny.
I'm so excited.
I wish he was my cousin.
I know.
I'm so
Me too.
excited.
Love him so much.
For any of you who have not seen the movie, you should. And
Honestly, are you like hiding under a rock?
Right.
Like, really?
As we always tend to do, we put Josh, our producer, on the spot, and he only watched the movie for our purposes today.
Right.
And
This
he
hurts
said,
my soul, Joshua.
And he said, and I quote, "It was okay."
okay.
Josh, do you want to like defend yourself,
What?
or you want to keep your job? Like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No comment.
I mean, to be fair, I think this movie came out 8 years before Josh was born, right? Because it's 92.
Yeah.
What does it matter? It's a classic.
It doesn't matter. This is
I've
just...
seen Casablanca, right?
I love Casablanca.
What?
Okay. He's an old soul, guys.
Oh my
He's an old
goodness.
soul.
Well,
maybe he doesn't understand the humor of...
Was it just like
No,
not
it was-
hitting the
it
jokes?
was funny. It was great. It just wasn't.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's because we've seen it. It's one of those beloved films for us that if you didn't grow up watching and laughing, it
My
doesn't
first
hit
time
the same
seeing
way.
it was in 2026.
Right,
Yikes.
right. So last week. So
Right.
if it's kind of like when we do movies that you guys love and that I've only watched for the first time for the movie, and I'm like, okay, it's fine. Like it just doesn't. I guess if you don't grow up with it in real time,
Because then you don't
it's
grow
just-
up with like the quotes from it.
right. It just doesn't
Is that
hit the
enough,
same way.
or do you think it's because we're lawyers that it hits hard?
No, I loved this movie long before I was a
I
lawyer.
love this movie. Before
I
was
mean,
a
and
lawyer.
honestly, most people I talk to, lawyers or not,
Yeah.
think it's awesome.
Right.
Are you guys still are you amazed that Marissa Tomei won an Oscar for this?
I love
I mean,
it.
there's a
I
lot
love
of
it so much.
controversy.
There was a
about
lot
it.
of shock.
There
and-
still
and-
is. There's still
and-
articles
yeah.
being written about that.
Yeah.
About whether
I
or
mean,
not she
I-
deserved
she
it.
She was phenomenal.
I think
She was
deserved
phenomenal.
it.
Marissa Tomei, my claim to fame is that Marissa Tomei and I graduated from the same high school.
What?
Slightly different years.
Slightly.
But yes, she is Edward R. Murrow High School's
Sweet.
like
Did you get to meet her at like an alumni event?
no.
Oh,
She
no.
was very famous by that time because when I was in high school, she had already won the Oscar.
So she's like the
Oh,
most
wow,
notable
okay.
Yeah.
alum, and you're like the second most notable alum.
Oh, we also have the Beastie Boys.
Okay, that's.
Oh no, she's falling down.
You just
she's
went
falling
down.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going
Yeah.
down. We got the Beastie Boys.
number 5
we got
now. What?
Marissa Tomei. There's somebody else. We got somebody else. I like my ranking keeps going.
That's impression. That's
It's
impressive.
impressive. I know Brooklyn represents. What can I tell you?
This. Very impressive. So what is this movie about? It's about Vinny.
What is it not about?
A New York attorney. Well, he's technically an attorney, except he hasn't really practiced more than 6 weeks. And his cousin Bill and Bill's friend Stan.
Played by Ralph Macchio.
Yeah, Bill is
the
Ralph.
Karate Kid.
Karate
Ralph
Kid,
Macchio,
baby.
and
One of my
Stan
childhood
is
crushes.
Mitchell Whitfield, and I mean, go look them up because right now I got to tell you, I'm shocked at how Ralph Macchio just like does not age.
Does not age, right?
Like right.
the Italian. Who can I tell you?
I know it's great. I enjoyed him in
Okay,
Cobra
Liz.
Kai, so you know even like his
He's like in
recent
his
work,
60s right now.
he looks like he's in his like
40s.
early 40s.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
does.
he's amazing.
But he always had a baby face.
Yes, when he was playing the Karate Kid, he was like in his 20s.
And he looked like a child.
Yeah.
He looked like a
But like
proper
right
teenager.
now, he looks so young,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
it's crazy. So they're accused of murder in
figure.
a small Alabama town.
Yeah.
In the boonies, and you know, and we'll get into this, but there's misunderstandings about what the crime is that they think they committed and what they are actually accused of. And so then it takes Vinny.
Wacky hijinks and
Wacky
so
hijinks.
The wackiest.
And Vinny has to come and
to Alabama,
to Alabama.
Vinny.
It's a very fish out of water movie, and
Bill calls his mother with his one phone call.
which okay, so
Let's just get into
let's
it.
get into it.
Let's just go.
Bill and Stan, they're driving through Alabama. They stop at a little convenience store. They pick up a few like grocery items, and one
Tuna.
of them
It's protein.
puts a tuna can in his pocket because he can't carry it,
Right.
and he ends up not paying for it and doesn't realize until they get it back into the car. I didn't pay for it. So when they're pulled over and arrested, they think it's because of a can of tuna that they shoplifted. When really it's because someone at the same time or similar time,
Shortly thereafter.
yes, went in and shot the clerk, killed the clerk, and the description of the perpetrators and the car that they were driving matches, Bill and Stan's car and,
Right.
and what they look like. And so now we have
Sorry, I
a
need to
situation.
stop.
Coincidentally.
Right. We have a
It's
situation
not a laughing matter.
where it's, a dramatic irony where we as the audience know that, they are being arrested for something different, but they think they're being arrested and questioned about the tuna can. So they're making statements that implicate themselves in this murder unknowingly. Now, the biggest issue right now for me is when you are arrested, you are told what you are being arrested for.
You read your Miranda rights.
You are
They're
being
never read their
arrested for the
Miranda rights.
suspicion of murder, not because you stole a can of tuna. And when you're questioned, it has to be explicit what they are questioning you about and what they're accusing you of. There can't be a misunderstanding.
And giving the right to retain an attorney or the right to remain silent, very similar to what we just did in There's Something About Mary,
Right.
when there was a very similar misunderstanding.
I was thinking
right?
the same thing.
Yes.
It's when Ted thinks that he's being interviewed by the cops because he picked up a hitchhiker, but really
it's murder.
it's murder. So he's like, oh yeah, I've had many in the past, right? And he doesn't mean victims; he means hitchhikers.
Hitchhikers.
Right.
And so very similar.
Right. So
And then, ha ha ha, funny. Oh, okay, I'm getting arrested for murder.
except the issue here is, the biggest issue here is that they are being charged with murder in Alabama, which is a capital punishment state. And so if they are convicted, they will be electrocuted like poor Norton, who the quintessential Norton gets electrocuted in the middle of the movie. And so this is the underlying issue throughout, right? Like, it's played for laughs and it's very funny, ha ha ha. But at the end of it, if Vinny
Vinny blows
doesn't
it,
win,
yeah,
they're
they're
getting
fried.
fried.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And it's just this hilarious scene where the cop is saying to them, so you shot the sheriff, or you shot the
deputy.
clerk.
I did not shoot that.
Right. He goes, you shot the clerk. And Bill, Ralph Macchio, has no idea what he's talking about. He goes, I shot the clerk? Like, he's saying it as a question.
Right, and they're like, oh,
But
that's
they
a
take
confession.
it as a
confession.
statement.
Which is also not allowed.
Of course, it's not an admissible
Not admissible.
confession. He had no idea what he's confessing to. He wasn't even confessing. He
I
this
also wanna
entire
point out,
time thinks he's talking about
He's,
tuna.
he's interrogated in a supply closet.
Yeah.
That was weird. That's
He
improper.
is, but then they moved him then the conversation, when they finally get to the tuna fish, they're now sitting in the sheriff's office. Remember, there's a sheriff.
Yes, and he makes his phone call in public, essentially.
Out in the open.
When you
Right.
get your one
They
phone
sleep
call,
with their sisters.
right.
Some of them do.
Right. When you get your one phone call, you are supposed to have privacy for that. You're not doing
Yeah.
it at one desk where there's other police desks and all of them are
they're
staring at you.
overhearing
They're
you.
watching you.
Right.
They're literally staring him down.
Yep.
But I'm guessing the commentary about that is that they're like literally in the boonies of
Where there
Alabama.
is no criminal procedure,
Well, no, if you're the judge, there very much is criminal procedure.
but police procedure.
Where there is no other, like, the crimes that big just don't happen here. They don't have the mechanism to put him in a separate room to make his phone call. Like, here's your phone in your desk and make a phone call, and we're all just going to stare you down while
Right.
you do it.
Right. And question, was there a grand jury hearing at any point or reference to one? Like,
Well, they have the preliminary hearing where they have the witnesses on the stand, and then the judge says, I think that there is enough to take this to trial. And that's the first
So
time
it
that
wasn't
Vinny-
a grand jury.
But it's not a grand jury.
It was
No,
the
it
judge.
wasn't a grand jury, right?
Right.
But that's the
capital
first time.
punishment, like,
I know.
case.
It's crazy. And then, by the way, so they start driving on January 4th, or they're arrested on January 4th. And the judge sets it down for a trial on February 2nd.
Insane.
Can,
Less
can
than
we
a month
talk about
for-
the
We have-
speed
Now,
speed
we
of
have
the
talked
trial?
about this so
Yeah.
many times, and we're going to continue talking about it until movies get this right.
They will never get it right
know,
because
it's gonna
that's
be
not the
funny.
point of a
4 weeks later.
movie.
It's gonna be
You do not
funny.
get your trial started 4 weeks later. It's years. It's not
Yes.
months, guys. It's years. Don't think that your lawyers are just dragging their feet
think
because
our-
you're still like waiting on something. It's
You
been a couple
have
of weeks.
to do discovery.
I feel like our public knows that by now.
No, I don't
mean,
think
I
they do.
hope so.
No, I mean, let's be real.
We just keep saying it
We're
over and
watching the
over
news.
again.
They know how long it takes to get
We
to
keep
a
saying
trial.
it over and over again, but this is partially where all of the problems arise, because no one's done any discovery. Vinny doesn't even know he's allowed to do discovery.
Oh my god!
So
Can I just tell you how many things are wrong with
So
that?
many.
So many.
do you want to list it? Go ahead, list it. Like,
How
just
many things are wrong?
don't
First
be,
of all,
don't be afraid. Shout it out when you know.
I shout it out. Okay.
Where's that from? The movie. Go on.
Yeah, no, number one.
You do a really good Vinny.
Thank you so
I
much.
really appreciate
And Marissa Tomei is my hero.
I know, she's amazing.
Oh yeah, you blend.
You blend.
You
I
blend.
bet the Chinese food here is terrible. All right, go on.
Wow, you sound like a grandma.
I'll try again later. Go ahead.
Let's start with the fact that here comes Mr. New York City lawyer. I've been practicing for 6 weeks. He
Personal
shows up
injury.
in Alabama, and ladies, we're supposed to have, if you're coming in and you want to, he's not licensed to practice in Alabama.
He's
by
barely licensed in New York.
Correct.
He took
Right.
the
By
bar
any
exam 6
stretch.
times.
And he's only been
Imagination.
practicing for 6 weeks at this point, and it was only personal injury cases, and he has not done a trial yet,
Nope.
or he has like no court experience.
So hey, let's take a capital murder case, shall we, as our test?
He's trying to help his cousin Bill.
Okay, let's talk about the fact that as an attorney, we have an obligation to be
Yes.
competent
Yes.
in the case that we are taking on.
Yes.
Yes.
We have a duty to our clients, an ethical duty to do our best to represent them and to be competent in what we're doing.
Right.
Would any of you say that Vinny was even remotely competent
No.
to do
you
a
need to
criminal
have basic
capital
understanding.
murder case?
You have to have understanding of basic procedure, and I think a reasonable judge, more realistically, would have either declared a mistrial, removed him from the case, or ordered supervision, or like a replacement counsel.
Well,
Yeah,
he shouldn't have been
something.
allowed to do it in the first place because the proper way, if you're coming in from out of state, it's called pro hoc vice admission, right? Which means that
Sounds
you
like a song, doesn't
you
it?
file a motion.
are a band.
You have
Pro
to. You,
hoc vice. I don't know.
you have to file a motion with the court, a motion to proceed, like a motion
You do.
for
You
to be
need-
admitted
for
under
permission.
prohibition.
Permission. Correct.
and you also need to be sponsored by a
Right.
practicing attorney
Yes.
in that state.
Who basically is, like you're saying, going to be your supervisor
Yes.
if you need it, if you...
Who just knows like the
You
laws
know,
of that's like knows the
right.
procedure. Like they don't have to even be a criminal attorney who does
Right.
this kind of law. They just need to know Alabama law
Right.
because they're barred there.
Right.
And none of that happens. The judge has an in-chambers meeting with Vinny.
Which is
This is
insane.
not how this happens.
No,
It's not a motion.
not at all.
It's a meeting inside your. Like,
And
no,
he said, and the judge said, this is a very informal process. I just have a couple of questions for
that's
him.
not.
None of which
That-
make any
not
sense.
true. Nope,
And-
not true.
And okay, so let's assume that this is proper procedure. Let's assume in Alabama,
It's not.
you're just allowed to
Okay.
walk into the judge's chambers and answer a few questions and you're admitted. Let's assume.
Really?
Vinny then lies about every single answer to the questions.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just all.
It would all be a mistrial.
Okay,
It's
the
all
only saving
malpractice.
grace is he wasn't technically under oath.
Yeah, but he is misrepresenting who he
everything.
is.
Right.
He's misrepresenting who he is.
Wait,
He's
who was he at
misrepresenting-
first, Jenny? Jerry
Gallo.
Gallo.
And then,
But then what happens? He's
Dead.
dead.
wait, you thought I said Jerry Gallo? I said
I
Jerry
said
Callo.
Callo.
Callo. So he's now misrepresenting himself twice to the judge. The first time when he says Jerry Gallo, he picks a random name that he's seen in the newspaper about a big New York trial attorney.
And why was his name in the newspaper?
because he's dead.
Because he's dead.
Because he's dead.
Yeah.
But here, see, this is clearly long before the time of
Internet.
the internet.
Yeah, like,
because all
this
you have to
would've
do
been-
is Google
He
Jerry
would have
Gallo.
done that
Oh.
like on the spot. Instead, he has to like fax something to someone.
He has to fax something. He has to call the clerk. The clerk has
a
to call
whole-
him
it's a whole
back.
thing.
It's a whole
Like, there's
Okay, now
like-
that was accurate.
what they have to call the clerk.
The delays of the call.
Oh, yeah, well,
that
yeah,
was
sure.
so, and still accurate today. Let's just
Yes.
point that out.
I got to also point out, I don't think they'd put the co-defendants into the same jail cell.
Yeah, that's right. I don't think that they would.
And another issue that we had discussed.
Unless it's strategic, I'm thinking. Maybe
I don't
because they
think
so.
want
No,
them
why?
to
No.
talk about
No, I
it.
don't think so. I
they
think the
wouldn't.
whole point is so that they're not like syncing their stories and whatever else, right? I would think they wouldn't put them.
And like we also discussed, they wouldn't have the co-defendants be represented by the same attorney.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a
definitely.
big thing.
That's a big
a
issue.
big overarching thing that like, first of all, it's possible and likely that joint trials would not happen. That it would they wouldn't have a
Yeah,
joint
they
trial.
were getting tried together. Right. Would not
because-
happen. Most of the
Huge
time
conflict of
no.
interest.
Because yeah, exactly. So unless they're charged exactly with the same crime arising from the same event, but even then there's reasons why you wouldn't have.
Well, yeah, because obviously
joint
there's only
trial.
going to be one shooter, right? It's only one of the two of them.
But
in
they're
theory.
charged with different things. Ralph Macchio is charged with murder in the
Murder.
first degree, and Stan is charged with
Accessory.
to
Mhm.
murder in the first degree. So they very much can potentially take different plea deals.
Right.
True.
One of them could turn on the other.
Right. Absolutely.
there
There's a
could be
huge conflict of
prejudicial evidence,
Yep.
admissible against one of them but not the other.
Yeah.
interest. But there's also something that might incriminate one that
Conflicting
would
defenses.
that would vindicate the other.
Absolutely.
And so now if you have the one attorney representing two defendants.
He cannot possibly do
Right.
an adequate job.
No.
With competing.
Like, what if one defendant
positions,
confesses, right?
competing- Yeah.
Then that could be used against the other one. And,
For sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So that's already off the bat.
We did talk about, though, in fact, I guess in theory, they could waive the conflict.
I just think
But I don't know that a judge in good conscience is going to allow
I think, well, first
on
of
a
all,
capital
one of the
punishment.
defendants to
Any
waive
defense-
that conflict.
any defense attorney would file a motion to sever the defendants.
Yes.
And also,
do you
you'd have
think, do you
two
think
attorneys.
Vinny even knows what the hell?
No, he doesn't know that.
No.
But a judge wouldn't allow him to just represent both of them. Like, it's almost always required that co-defendants, particularly in a case of this nature, would have separate counsel, and like because it otherwise you have a risk of conflicted representation, right? And Sixth Amendment gives you the right to conflict-free representation. That's like a constitutional right that you have. One lawyer representing two defendants risks your right to that because the strategy of one may harm the other and all these things that we just named.
Right.
So judges are very careful about this. This judge, if he cares about procedure, would have done something about that. Like,
Yeah,
Well, he
there's
said he
definitely
cared quite a bit about
definitely a conflict in the,
Oh,
in the
100%.
presentation of the judge because somebody that's that obsessed with procedures and following the rules would have never allowed that to happen.
and if he didn't just like strike it down right away, he would have at least, number one, asked, do you understand the risks? Like, ask them that. And probably would have made them sign a waiver, like waived their conflict-free counsel.
I just don't think
and
that the waiver
under,
would
like,
even
you
be
know,
allowed
under
here.
oath, like out loud,
right.
you know, confirmed, like, yeah.
Small little tidbit: when they're being driven, like ahead of trial, when they're being driven on the bus driver says that the local jail has been condemned, so they're taking them to the state penitentiary.
Oh, yeah.
Are they allowed to do that? Are they
No.
allowed to take them to the state penitentiary, before they're convicted? No,
I don't think
I mean, it's temporary, you know?
temporary.
right.
So that was an issue. And
huge issue.
So they roll up into town, you know.
Yeah.
I
Vinny
love
and,
it.
and Mona Lisa.
I love
That
everything.
scene is epic.
Yes.
Epic.
Mud in the tires.
Mud and tires.
She's never heard.
One
she knows nothing
tire
about
spins,
cars.
the other one does nothing, you know. So, anywho, I digress. So they roll up into town. They are checking out the local scene. They know the Chinese food's gonna suck.
Suck.
It's a whole thing. They're blending. No one's noticing them.
For
It's a whole
sure.
thing.
They're
Oh
really
yeah,
pulling
you
it off.
blend.
Yeah,
You blend.
Yeah. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
What are you, a
So-
fucking world traveler?
Oh my god.
Okay, Diana said we cannot quote the entire
I told him
movie,
it
so I'm
can't
gonna
just be an
try.
entire podcast
I'm so
episode of
sorry,
It is
but
so
it's so
hard
good.
to not.
I'm sorry.
It's so hard to not
laying down
share
law.
with this
He's a
movie.
fucking world traveler. It's funny.
Oh my god.
All right,
Oh my
all right,
God.
all right. Sorry, go on,
You
make your
sound so
point.
Brooklyn right now, and you never sound like that. It's so funny. Anyway. Okay.
Back on track.
So back on track. So there they are, and he goes to do the visit in the jail,
Yes.
literally in the jail. And then, all right. So what?
Well,
you got?
the two of them. I just laugh because Bill is sleeping. Bill, the cousin, is sleeping. He comes in, and Stan is petrified.
Oh, I love this.
That they're gonna get a roommate, like a Bubba like roommate, who's going to have his way with them. And in comes my cousin Vinny,
And he doesn't know Vinny.
and Vinny's like, "Hey, I'm here to get started," and
It's like
just
more dramatic irony where like one of them, Vinny's talking about like representing him. And then,
Misunderstandings.
and then Stan thinks that he's talking about basically having his way with him. And then it's not until Bill finally wakes up and is like, oh, Vinny, my cousin.
Yeah, and Vinny says things like, "You better be grateful. You better be down on your fucking knees."
Oh, yeah. It's great. I love it. That was written perfectly.
I'm not sure that there are any legal issues with that scene. It's just written perfectly.
We had to replay that scene for you.
Why does Vinny not own a suit? Can you tell me that?
Because he's from
Just
Brooklyn.
why? The people wear
'Cause he
suits
works
in Brooklyn.
He works on cars in Brooklyn.
Pinstripes usually, but why?
I have been to court in Brooklyn, and I can attest that people do wear court suits to court in Brooklyn.
Thank you for attesting.
So Vinny should have had a suit. But again, this is where all of the issues come up. He's being he goes in front of the judge. He's wearing his like
he has no
leather
idea,
jacket,
no idea what a first
leather
appearance
pants,
is
right.
about.
No,
At all.
No,
He doesn't know anything. And anyone who's practiced, particularly litigation, you know that you're like in the beginning when you're like fresh out of law school, just took the bar. The first few times that you're thrown into court, you're kind of like looking around, being like, "What do I do next?" Because there's such a
You have no
procedure
idea
that
what to
you
do.
have to like. It's not just a procedure you could read about in a book. It's like you have to see like
You have to
where
get comfortable.
when are people standing up? Where are they sitting? Where do they walk over? Where am I supposed to stand? How do I address the judge? Like there's these little things that you only work out a little bit over time, and then eventually it becomes second nature to you. But here he is, not knowing any of
One
that.
of the very accurate things that he said is when Lisa said to him, why don't you know any of this stuff? Didn't they teach you that in law school? And he said, no, they didn't teach us shit in law school.
correct.
They taught us contracts in law school. And the way that you learn is you go to court and watch.
Right.
True.
That is absolutely accurate.
100%.
We read cases in law school and we learned what's
Theory.
breach of
You
contract.
study theory.
Right.
100%.
That's the thing. Like when you graduate law school, you're not prepared to be a lawyer.
No.
In fact, the 2 months you spend cramming for the bar teaches you
It's just more studying.
so much more about actual law
Yes.
than law school is just I mean, the way they defend this process is they say it's teaching you to think like a lawyer, but like really, you're just learning theory for 3 years, and like you don't graduate and you're like, I'm ready to be a lawyer.
No.
So
you
that
don't-
I mean,
that was
I don't
correct.
think so. I was always impressed by the people that graduated law school and decided to hang up a shingle, and I'm
like, what? How the hell do you know what you're
why?
doing?
Right.
Like how?
How do you know what
I
you're
don't get that.
doing?
Not a clue.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I became a clerk.
Yes.
I became
I
a
was a
clerk
clerk
for a
too.
judge
Oh.
to learn the ins and
That's
the
a
outs
really good way of
the
learning.
courtroom and what to do, what to say, what's the judge looking for.
How to
like
what kind of deadlines there are, how to write a motion.
Just even
We don't
knowing,
learn how
like,
to write a
walking up to the
motion.
clerk and be like, I need to get this stamped. Like, that little procedure, those little things,
Absolutely.
like, you don't know it.
No.
Like, you really feel like fish out of water
you
there.
do.
Yeah.
You do.
I did not clerk. I instead decided to just go through, like, a series of panic attacks for a few years. And that's how I learned how to do it right. So,
Kudos, Diana.
you know, thank
Kudos.
you so much.
You made it.
I
You
made it.
But I think that was a very, very accurate sort of representation of really what happens in law school and then what happens when you come out of it. So
he survives the first appearance somehow.
well, no, he gets thrown in jail. He gets thrown
he
in jail.
survived.
He is
thrown in
held,
jail.
held in contempt so many times. And the thing is, I don't know if he'd be thrown into jail each time. Like,
No, I don't think so.
more likely than not, you'd just be fined.
Fined. Usually it's fine.
But also at a certain point, every single
Not that
time
I
he's
know,
thrown-
mind you, I've never been held in contempt.
Every single time he's thrown in jail, he rides the bus to the state penitentiary with his clients.
Yes.
That would not happen.
I
No.
just feel like at a certain point, it now just becomes ineffective counsel by virtue of the fact that your counsel keeps getting thrown into jail with
Correct.
you.
And Stan tried to.
Can you blame Stan?
well, Stan
for
tried to
wanting
retain. He got a public defender,
Right.
who ended up knowing procedure but had a stutter.
Don't you think it's a little weird, though, that he opted for a public defender? I mean, did they really have no money?
Well, here's what I don't understand.
Couldn't he hire another
Neither
lawyer?
of their families, like,
Yeah, I
you're-
don't get that.
understand that, like, Bill's parents were away,
In
but
Chile.
like in Chile, your kid is on trial and facing the death penalty. You're flying back, and you're going to be there.
She sent Vinny.
No, come on,
She sent
come
Vinny.
on. And Stan,
And this is Italian
Stan's Jewish parents. You're saying that they didn't fly in?
That's my point. You're talking about Italian and Jewish parents, and they're just like,
They're
good
just
luck,
like, whatever.
son. Are
Vinny's
you
got
kidding
it.
me?
Let me know if you get the death penalty. Like, what?
See you later.
See you later. See you never.
Hoping for the best.
Fingers crossed.
Godspeed.
Yeah, that was weird to me that like neither of them had like families.
That
there.
was insane.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, fine. Didn't play into the script.
Another
but
weird thing that has nothing to do with the law. There's a scene where Mona Lisa and Vinny are eating at like outside. It's like a barbecue joint.
Yeah.
And they're talking about the case and like whatever. And he's dipping his corn on the cob into beans and eating it.
I mean,
Okay.
That was weird. I wrote it down because it was like
maybe
I've
this
never
is
seen that
his-
before.
Maybe he was like acclimating to the southern.
It was the weirdest thing.
lifestyle.
It was the weirdest thing.
keep in
Enough that I
mind-
noted it.
Keep in mind, he then from the beginning to the end of the movie becomes an avid grits eater.
Oh right.
Well, I was just gonna say
I love
that
that the grits
scene
actually helped him.
was so pivotal.
So who wants to explain what
Grits.
happens?
So they go have breakfast at some like local joint
Yeah, what was
in the
the-
beginning of the movie.
Oh, which I loved because the menu
The
was
cook
like
guy was
the
great.
menu, they were like, what
lunch,
should we
dinner.
have? Breakfast.
And he's like, what are these?
Right. He's never seen a grit in his life, which I guess is a very staple Southern dish. He's never seen a grit in his life. He has no
You
idea
guys
what
ever
it
have
is.
grits?
No, I've never tried grits.
No, me neither.
I have had grits, but like not until like adulthood.
Okay.
I have had grits.
You have?
Oh.
Are they gritty?
You've had them
Tell
here
us-
or in the South?
Tell us about your grit
like-
experience.
Tell us.
No, like probably at like a hotel in Florida kind of
See, in the
thing.
South.
All right, but there's
Did it
they're
help
also
you-
around here.
Did it help you solve a murder?
No.
No. All right. Well, then your
See, that-
experience.
I've had like
As an
shrimp and
It-
grits
It's
like
not
as a
an
meal,
Italian
like
shrimp
at a
and grits.
restaurant.
shrimp and grits.
But like, like it wasn't something I grew up with. Like in adulthood,
No,
I
me
went to like a
neither.
restaurant in like
Oh,
New
yeah, okay.
Orleans.
Yeah,
I
no,
had
you're
there.
right. They've had they're on the menu sometimes.
the point
As an
is-
Italian, in my head, I
Yeah.
feel like it's like polenta.
Polenta.
Oh yeah,
It is. It's
yeah,
polenta.
Because polenta I've had.
So he says, "What the hell are grits?"
Yeah.
And the chef explains to him that grits are corn-based. You have to soak them in water for 15 to 20 minutes.
This is pivotal.
Pivotal information. And he tries the grits, and as the movie progresses, he ends up loving grits. He loves his grits.
Yeah.
You like them al dente, regular, like.
I feel like I'm slathering them in butter.
Right.
That's where I'm going with it.
So we now have learned that it takes 15 to 20 minutes to make
For the
grits.
entire grit-loving
Grit-eating
world. Yep.
20 minutes. We're gonna hold on to that little piece of information.
Jenny, there
until we
weren't
get to the
instant
end.
grits, were they?
No self-respecting Southerner would make instant grits. We're going to hold on to this grit information until we get to the end because I think we want to try to stick to like the chronological timeline.
We're trying really hard.
We are.
folks.
We are.
Really.
We're still working so well.
We're doing great.
But in any case, he's constantly thrown in jail. He does not know the procedure. He does not know that you can do discovery. His fiance is reading the book of procedure and telling him
Quite
that you
frankly,
can do
does
discovery.
better than him.
Well, I like when I love when Vinny, like, he gets from the prosecutor, he gets like a box of discovery, all these documents, and he's so proud of himself. He comes in and he's like, look what I got.
schmoozed
I
him.
Right.
schmoozed.
That's what the proceeding of it is like. He thinks that like he sweet talked him and
Right.
got all this
And she's
stuff,
like,
and he's so great.
You idiot. Like, he's required to give it to you.
It's called disclosure.
Called disclosure.
And how does he get this discovery? They go hunting.
Oh my God.
For who, Liz? Who are they hunting?
The
What are they
baby
hunting?
deer.
Baby Tia.
Imagine you have a little deer.
You put your little baby deer lips down to the cool water, and then all of a sudden, bam!
She had to do it. She's been waiting for months to
I
do this
love it.
scene, guys.
I will say this is my favorite scene.
Would you give a shit?
Favorite.
No, would you
give a fuck
What
what
the
the son of a bitch was wearing?
Who
that
shot you
you
was
in the
wearing?
head? Yeah. I ask you.
No, the deer did not give a shit.
Did not
No.
give a shit.
But he
Because
gets the
he's
discovery.
dead.
He gets the discovery.
So he gets discovery.
But it has
it's
nothing
called
to do
disclosure.
with the
You are
schmoozing.
required to give it to the other side. You have to
Required.
disclose to the other side the discovery.
And he's got a whole box of stuff. He
I'm still
has
not
a whole
convinced
list of
that
witnesses.
he got everything.
No,
though.
capital
No, there's
case.
one
and
box.
it's just
No
one
way.
box.
No, it would have
Well,
been.
I mean,
no.
it was done in a month. Let's be real. They didn't do a whole lot.
But now all of a sudden, in this case, he's like cracking this case wide open because now he's got a list of witnesses. Now he knows who to go to talk to.
That's right.
And so now he's
And
going
the
to talk to
conversations
people.
are great.
Well, you think that the conversations are ridiculous because
Correct.
he's talking to them about, well, what did you have for breakfast that day? And what's over there on the window? And those glasses. Like, he's having the most inane conversations with these
And they're
people.
taking pictures everywhere they go, in particular Mona Lisa, which is very helpful in the end. She's basically his investigator.
However,
right?
However, her taking these pictures, that's not admissible evidence.
No.
Like, that would have, like, you
She authenticated them.
No.
But he used a lot of those pictures without her authenticating.
I mean, she cracked the case.
No.
When
He's
he was-
in the shower.
when he was cross-examining all of those witnesses and did a phenomenal job cross-examining.
It's a really good. This movie just shows like what good lawyering is. Like,
Yes.
if you don't know procedure
Yes.
and you're not well
Honestly-
trained, if you just have that like quality in you,
Yes.
you are like he had
watching
it.
Vinny go from an
was a master class
inexperienced
of that.
Yes, attorney to becoming masterful.
Just yes,
at cross examination.
it's like the high IQ,
It's
the
a
high
great
EQ.
shines.
It
Like,
is absolutely a sight to behold.
But he was doing the cross-examination with the photographs that Lisa took.
Yeah.
They're not authenticated not by him, not by Lisa, not by the people
No. She authenticated the
when
tire
she was
track
on the
picture.
stand. When she was on the
Yes.
stand. Not when he's showing the pictures
Oh,
to
the old lady.
no,
that
the old lady was with the glasses.
Yeah.
No, he's
No,
showing
no. Oh, the
pictures
guy with the schmutzy
guy,
window.
And he
oh,
says,
and he's like,
yeah.
he's like,
"What
and
are
now-
those big things over there? Trees. Don't be
Trees.
afraid. Shot them when you know them."
What are these bushes? Okay,
What are
how
those
many?
bushes?
How many?
What are
Oh,
those
you
bushes?
missed those two. You missed those
That
two.
one and that one.
The way he does it.
It's truly a master class. But
Phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
who took these pictures?
Right.
Lisa. Lisa's not on the stand. Lisa's not an expert.
Prosecutor
No
didn't have a
objection.
chance to like.
No objection.
Right. Like, I mean, like evidence, you have the opportunity to challenge evidence. Like, you know, you don't just accept it. Like, you you have like your own investigator review whether to see like, is this photo taken at the right time from the right angle? Is this accurate? Like there would be a deep forensic battle on this, and there was none here.
Yeah.
Just accept it as that.
But-
I got to point out how many private conversations Vinny has with the judge in chambers, oftentimes
Yes.
talking about
Yes.
the case.
Without
Without the prosecutor. You would not be able.
I knew you were going there.
Oh my
Like,
God,
you're
one
talking
side.
about
Yes.
yeah,
One
Oh
side-
God, why is the word not coming to me, Jenny?
What is
Ex parte.
Ex parte.
Ex parte,
Thank you.
yeah.
It wasn't
You
coming to me.
You can't have ex
You
parte
ex parte
communications
with the
judge. Like, no. Anytime
How many times would you be jumping up and down at that point?
No,
if that happened?
I mean,
I would be like,
I would ask for mistrial.
Yeah, me too.
granted, they are not talking about the case, but I think it's still very relevant. They're not talking about the substance
They're
of
not
the
talking about
case.
substance, but they are talking about the case in
They-
general.
well, I think it's very relevant to the case because if Vinny cannot properly represent,
Prosecutor needs to know that.
prosecutor needs to know that. Of course, the prosecutor needs to know the entire time that there is some question as to whether or not Vinny is Vinny or Jerry Gallo or Jerry Callow. Right?
Callow.
So the prosecutor needs to be informed of all of this, and he's not. But he's got his little discovery.
I like the prosecutor. It's Lane Smith. So he was.
First of all, he's hilarious.
I love him. If you ever watch like, The Adventures of Superman with Dean Cain, he was better. And
He was the bad coach in Mighty Ducks.
yes,
Yeah.
he was. He was also.
That's right.
He's also the dad in Son-in-Law.
don't
Like,
know.
and I don't know if you.
Oh, with Pauly Shore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes.
That movie has a. I have a soft spot for it.
Oh
And
my God.
and he's great in it.
Oh my God.
I don't know, Pauly Shore, underrated. Yeah, so that was an issue. Also, how many times you watched Vinny or either attorney really approach witnesses without asking for permission to approach? Like,
Okay, yeah.
and this
You're
happens
right.
in so many
Technicality,
movies.
but yes.
So many movies. In a real trial,
It's not. He's not.
you
your
can't
witness.
just go up to the witness, right? Like, and just be like, I'm gonna go stand right here. and be like,
because
"Hey, let me-"
it's considered very adversarial when
Right.
it's not your witness.
Right,
when
you
you're
ask for permission to
cross-examining.
approach the witness.
Yeah.
That's literally that's part of the process. And so I kept noting that wouldn't happen.
No, I mean
But
he
you're
did
right.
it.
That commonly
They're just
happens
rolling
in-
up to the
Yeah,
witnesses. Like
yeah.
there's no procedural rule against that.
Yeah.
He is fully doing this not in accordance with any procedural laws, right? The only great thing that he does is actually cross-examine them and catch them in whatever whatever holes are in their
Well,
stories,
how did you
right?
think? What did you think of the prosecutor's job of questioning the witnesses?
I mean, the prosecutor knows what the witnesses are going to say. He's the one who handpicked them,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Like
So he knows what they're going to say, and he knows that they're going to say that I saw those two guys going into the sack of suds, and then 5 minutes later, I saw them getting into their car, into their mint green Pontiac Tempest, and driving off, right? And so what happens is that it becomes very clear early on that the defense is going to be there were two other guys.
Right.
There is an alternate. There's someone else who did it.
A theory of the other.
The
other
other
perpetrator.
other guy.
Correct.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is where I was going to go, and then I lost my train of thought. When the two of them are talking, when Vinny is talking to the prosecutor, and they're having their sort of like, "Hey, nice to meet you" kind of chat, and Vinny says to him, "Well, how do you feel about the case?" And the prosecutor says, "I'd like to have the murder weapon, but I feel pretty good otherwise." Bro, you don't have the murder weapon.
that is
Seriously.
You're not getting like. I mean.
Like, you
might
should not
get
feel
you
so
might
secure.
you shouldn't feel secure. You still could get the death penalty, but it really is a huge
And
So what about the
issue
fact
in your
though that the
case.
prosecutor did not divulge all of the evidence
Yeah.
and withheld
Yeah.
stuff that
Yeah.
easily could have shown that they were not the perpetrators?
so, yes, and I think the fact this is where Vinny's inexperience really comes into play, right?
time.
Because Vinny doesn't realize that he should be really capitalizing on the fact that there is no murder weapon.
Absolutely.
He should be capitalizing on the fact that the prosecution is not disclosing evidence in a timely manner and is withholding evidence. But Vinny just doesn't know to do that.
Right.
By the way, real life
And that-
example. Do you remember the Alec Baldwin trial? I think we
Yes.
talked about it briefly in a different episode.
With the misfiring on the set?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
The case was dismissed because the prosecution did not properly disclose evidence.
right.
And once
it.
the defense realized it, they brought a motion for
Case was
dismissal,
thrown out.
and
Absolutely.
the case was thrown out.
That's it. And you don't get like a second bite of the apple.
No.
The case was thrown out.
No, that's what double
Proceed- yeah.
That's what double
That's-
jeopardy is all
That's what the movie Double Jeopardy should have been
should
about.
have been about.
Was that? Oh no, it was thrown out on the technicality. We can't bring these charges.
But this is where if they were ultimately convicted,
Mm-hmm.
and spoiler alert, obviously they win, and it's thrown out. But if they were convicted, this is just
The,
more piling
argument
on
for the appeal.
Well, mistrial, no, but an appeal, yes, 100%.
This movie is touted as like very procedurally accurate as far as these movies go, and I think that's correct. Like, but there are a lot of issues there.
There are.
that
And the
aren't
prosecution's
realistic.
case is really based solely on eyewitness evidence. And what do we know about eyewitness evidence?
It's not
Reliable.
Mm-hmm.
It is the worst evidence. And I'll say that's the one thing I took out of law school. That they told us.
And I'm glad that
it is inherently unreliable.
They focused on that, like his cross-examination. So going back to the grits,
Excellent.
It was like he was able to poke holes in every single eyewitness.
Yes.
Easily.
Like,
Yes.
Oh well, you said it took you 5 minutes to make grits. Like that
Right.
doesn't
So
work
this is
out,
where the
right?
grits now come back, right? The guy says, I saw them walk in and I had just started making breakfast. And then when I sat down to eat, I saw them running out. Okay. And so how long
How
did
much
that take?
time? Right.
It took me 5 minutes from start to finish. What were you eating? I was eating grits. Were they instant
Really,
grits?
sir?
No. Right. Exactly.
No,
So
No self-respecting Southerner is going to have
Instant
grits.
well, so as much as I loved the cross-examination, I do have some questions.
Go
about
on.
it.
Yeah.
Are we asking the judge to take judicial notice that it takes 20 minutes to make
I think he
grits?
is.
He's
I think
asking
Right?
you,
But he
you are.
didn't.
You are.
But he
Technically, he didn't. But that was the gist of what he was
Right?
getting
'Cause-
at, is
'cause-
that everyone in the South knows what good
Grits.
grits are going to,
I-
how long it's
I
going to
But
take.
maybe he made bad grits, right? But what he got to was that witness saying,
don't
"Yeah,
know.
I
It's
guess
possible.
it was maybe longer."
I think
Right.
I think properly what needed to be done was he would have to ask the judge to take judicial notice, because if I'm the prosecution during that line of questioning,
and to explain what judicial notice
Yes.
means is
yeah,
basically.
it's something that is just so commonly known
Right.
that you don't need an expert to opine
And you want the
on
judge
it.
to basically like make it known that
It was-
this is the fact that we like.
Yeah.
The sky is blue.
The sky's blue, correct?
Right.
Like
but
judge,
that's general. The grit stuff is going to be known there.
I just think
A jury in New York is not going to appreciate that. They're not going to understand that.
of course not. But I just think that if I'm the prosecution and he's making this point about how long the grits take, I'm objecting because I'm saying this is very subjective, right? Maybe he makes shitty ass grits and maybe his grits were runny. And maybe, in fact, he did take 5 minutes to make grits, but they were inedible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think ultimately, I think Diana's right. The goal was achieved in that he contradicted his own testimony. In
Sure.
that, okay, yeah,
Correct.
maybe it was more than 5
But
minutes.
by the way, the goal was achieved after his response should have been stricken because there was an objection.
Okay.
He was effectively badgering the witness. He kept saying, "Are you sure about those 5 minutes?" There was an objection. After the objection, the witness needs to shut up. He can't say anything. The judge sustains the objection. He still keeps badgering him and saying, "Are you sure about the 5 minutes?" And after that, does the witness say, "I may have been wrong about the 5 minutes"? That should have been stricken. The jury should have been instructed not to consider that admission.
Yet the procedural loving judge didn't.
Right. Although the funny thing is, like, even
I mean,
when
it serves
it's
its purpose for the movie.
even when it's and even like in real life, like when it's stricken from the record.
I
and,
know,
like,
I laugh.
and they
They
tell the
heard
jury you're not to take that into consideration. Like we're human, we have
Right.
human brains. Like that's
Have you?
And you know what? Quite frankly, sometimes when you're doing that stuff, I even do that. I go, whatever. They heard it anyway.
Right.
Like,
Well,
you know, sometimes I will.
Have you ever
that.
done it on purpose?
Yes,
of course.
absolutely.
I have absolutely said to my clients, I'm going to say it. It's going to be an objection. It's going to be sustained. But it's out there. You can't
Yeah,
put the
you just
toothpaste
want
back
it-
in the
you
tube.
You can't put it back. Exactly.
You just wanted the jury's mind.
I just want it. Well, for us,
Well,
it's
for
just
us, we don't have a
judge,
jury,
right?
but-
And
but same
sometimes,
diff, you
and,
know?
And look, the judges really are supposed to say, la 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 la. I didn't hear it, but everybody's human.
Of
like,
course.
if you could just like kind of plant it,
Yeah.
you do it sometimes.
It's the same thing like when you submit papers and they're like, well, I'm not going to consider them because they were out of time. When you know damn well they read
They
them
looked at them.
anyway. So who cares, you know? And everybody gets away with that stuff.
I mean, yeah, like when I've done like jury trials, especially like because you're dealing with lay people.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you're just asking a question, like knowing like I'm
Just
not
to
even
throw it
gonna
out
get their
there, right?
answer. I'm not even getting. I'm not gonna get to the point where I'm even getting the witness's answer. I'm just asking the question, and I know it's gonna be
objected to, of
objected,
course.
sustained, and then I'm going to ask a different question.
But now-
Objection, sustained, and I'm asking all these questions without getting answers. But those questions are going to stay in that jury's mind.
For sure, for sure, for sure.
So I think my favorite one of my favorite cross-examinations
Yeah.
was the old lady with the glasses.
I love that.
You know, I have questions about that
was
too.
tremendous.
I'd like
Go
to talk
ahead.
about that also. He pulls out, he says, how far away were they from
Right.
you? She says 100 feet. He pulls out this like tape measure and
He gets
goes-
only 50.
He gets only 50.
That was
He's
impressive.
Like, he's like, it's half the distance. Let's check your vision. Is that a proper cross-examination? He is not an eye doctor. He is not an expert. He's literally in the
Yes,
courtroom
I
with a
agree.
tape measure. I don't. I
And
think
my
you
argument would be, he's
be objecting
asking
to that.
like, how many fingers am I holding up? That's different than, can you see what that person looks like?
Let the record show that the defense attorney is holding up 2 fingers.
Right.
Mrs. Riley. And only Mrs. Riley.
That was so good.
But again, I just don't think he'd be allowed to do it. Like, you're not allowed to have an eye exam
Right.
in the courtroom.
Well, and I
you
would-
should have done that during discovery.
During discovery, you would get her like an eye examination. You get like some sort of affidavit by her, like an
Eye doctor
licensed
or
eye
You
something.
guys are
doctor.
really making this boring. I'm not gonna.
That's how
I
you ruin
know.
it.
because
Because
the
that's
dramatic
law.
the
Law's
dramatic
boring.
effect was
No,
Law is
amazing.
beautiful. And he like he and Lisa high five each other.
Oh,
and
it was
like-
good. It was
and
good.
I'm done with this guy. Like, it's
yeah, right.
amazing.
This guy, I love the way he does that.
I know.
Yep.
It's truly like he's literally just obliterating every witness
It's
after
an
every
art.
witness.
It's an art form.
It is.
Like,
A
you're watching a
proper-
It is.
masterpiece.
Yes.
A proper
100%.
cross-examination truly is an art form.
It is.
And a lot of times you should prepare for cross-examination. and you
100%.
can.
But sometimes you got it and sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
There have been rare occasions. You know how rare it is.
Of course.
When you've got that zinger moment.
Yes.
And it's rare because
Yes.
most of the time the witnesses aren't playing.
It's so good though.
They
It's
don't
the
play with
greatest,
you.
it's
But
the
when they
greatest moment of
play
their
right
life.
into your hands, I can't even explain to you.
And you got what you
well,
needed.
you guys know the euphoria that you feel when you got them. I got you. Like, oh.
It's yes. And sometimes you can't prepare for that because sometimes when I have to do a cross-examination, I will prepare the questions that I know I need to get from them.
Right.
And you're going to anticipate their arguments. So you can anticipate this is what they're going to testify on direct. So
And
I
sometimes
know,
you're just even getting it just so that your closing statement you're able to
Correct.
like incorporate it. And you
But
heard
there's
here that
but
this
there's
is what happened.
tangents, you know,
Right.
and you're gonna have to veer off course
Right.
if they answer in a way you're not expecting. You've got to be.
But when
able
you
to
get a good one-
you got to pivot.
I always find that cross-examination, even though I always find that the other side's direct is harder than your own direct.
I
right?
agree.
Because
Yeah.
your own direct, you have fully prepped. You
Well,
have prepped with your
Your
client.
direct examination, and just for anyone who doesn't understand, that means it's your witness that you're calling. You have
Yes.
prepared. You know what they're
Yeah.
going to answer. You're
Or at
basically-
least you should have. if you
should.
did your job.
You did your
Right.
job right.
Right.
You know.
And again, sometimes
Now,
you have a straight
granted,
client.
the schmooze don't always follow the
Right.
script.
If you have a good witness that you prepared well and they're not going to like go rogue, then you're direct. It's basically you're following a script. There are no surprises. There's no
Correct.
Like I got it.
And
like,
you can even
you know
predict.
exactly what's going to happen.
You also can even predict the objections that are going to come up.
Yeah.
I in my
Correct.
notes will have
Objection in the- yeah.
objection. Here's my response to the objection. Like I know you can, for the most part, predict what's going to
Yep,
happen.
yep.
But when the other side is doing their direct, your brain is working on overtime.
taking down copious
Every-
notes.
Yeah, you're
Tons
like,
of
literally.
notes.
Yeah.
Because you have to, in real time, be listening to every single word that witness is saying. And
Preparing your questions, preparing what
questions.
their answer will be.
Yeah,
to that
it is
question.
not easy. Now,
No.
most of the time, what I will say is judges, partially for their calendar, but also I think to cut you a break, they'll try to break it up. They're not gonna. They're not usually gonna make you do cross right after.
Sometimes it
Unless it's a
depends.
summary proceeding.
Yeah.
I mean, I
So
get
I
that.
gotta say that was
But-
one of my notes. Was
Yeah.
in this movie, it's like the cross examination
Happens right away.
Right away.
Yeah.
It's not. Generally
have
how
any
it
time to
happens.
prepare.
Like,
No, they usually
you
give
were
you
given
time.
to prepare because
Yeah.
you have to like digest what they've said.
Right.
Prepare your questions and
Right.
like because direct
Yeah.
is scripted
Yeah.
and now you're in your improv mode. Like this
Yes.
is your improv
Yeah.
portion.
And by the way, Vinny asks for multiple continuances for
And
this
he-
very
and
reason.
by the way,
and he gets denied.
he
every
gets
time.
denied.
Yeah.
Why?
So again, this is just
Prejudice of the
I
of
actually
the
thought that.
judge.
I thought that, yeah.
Absolutely.
100%.
Right. He's prejudiced against the Yankee outsider that came in. And look, that happens. Let's be real. Even in Jersey, when you've got North Jersey attorneys going down to South Jersey, don't you sometimes feel like a fish out of water, Jenny?
yeah, because they're eating
100%.
grits.
Yeah. Well,
South Jersey.
yeah.
North
but,
Jersey and South Jersey are two different worlds.
People
They are.
tend to be
They
a
really
little,
are,
you
actually.
know,
Cliquey.
home base clicky. Yeah. And it can be tough.
I mean, I found that even when I was like going to different courts in different boroughs of
Yes.
New York.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in Kings
I don't-
County. That's very different than me. Like
I
being,
understand
yeah.
that. I never practiced in New York, but what I've heard from people that,
practiced in
because
New
you've
York.
told me, no, that each county
I mean,
has their own rules, their own
Wildly
procedures,
different.
and I've literally, when I've tried to refer cases to people in New York, I will often get, I do Kings County, I don't do Queens and
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
And like, so I
did
get that.
primarily,
And I'm like, dude, it's the same city.
primarily I was in
it's
Manhattan,
not.
and then
It's-
every time I'd go to Kings County, Queens County, or my God, Staten
Yeah.
Island was it?
Yeah.
Richmond County, like,
Richmond, yeah.
it almost felt like
It's like all
my
different
Another
first day
world,
of,
right?
It's like
Yeah.
my first day of practicing again because I'm like, oh, everything's done very differently
Yeah.
here. It's like
They
Yeah.
all have different rules,
Mm-hmm.
and all the judges within the counties have different rules. It's just
Yeah.
you familiarize yourself with like the judges of like one county. You know
Right.
exactly. We walk into the courthouse and you know exactly what to do, and then you go to a different courthouse. Like, and so I can't imagine like. I haven't had to do this,
Yeah.
being from New York and then having to try a case
in another state.
in Alabama.
so. He's constantly denied the continuances
Mm-hmm.
to review discovery, to review testimony, to have some time to prepare cross-examination. The judge just isn't giving him the proper time to prepare. But even with that, and even with the threat of being thrown in jail constantly, by the way, he's thrown in jail for not wearing a suit. I
That
just
was
don't think he would be thrown in
insane.
jail for
No, that was-
right. I
no.
mean, hilarious, hilarious.
But crazy.
I really appreciated the suit that he ended up getting, though.
The
'Cause
Abraham
Oh,
Lincoln
I love
suit.
that.
I
No,
wore
it was like a
this
prom,
for you.
like
It was
80,
like
like 70.
old
I always thought of
throwback
it as like an
red
Abraham
tux
Lincoln.
thing.
Oh, really? I thought of it as
Really?
like
No,
the
I thought of it-
disco era.
Yeah. Like it
No,
was
he's got like tails.
But
like a magician.
it's like Dumb and Dumber. It's like one of those. tuxedos,
No, but my
right?
favorite. Are you mocking me with that suit?
Love that so much. All right. I
But
guess
you
we-
can't be thrown in jail
No.
for wearing. Like you can be admonished by the judge for
Although
being
I will
inappropriately
say,
dressed.
real life story. Couple of weeks ago, judge in a local county.
Yeah.
Guy shows up, male attorney shows up to court, no tie. Judge didn't throw him in contempt, but judge made the comment of, "What happened, so and so? Forgot
Wait,
our
you
tie
witnessed
today."
it? Were you on the other side?
I was not. I was told this by another attorney in my office. It said, "Forgot our tie today?"
Wow.
And he's like, "Oh," and he got flustered, and he was like, "Oh yeah, sorry, judge, whatever."
Wow.
And the judge basically said, "Next time you come in my courtroom, I expect to see a tie."
like that's one of those things.
Wow.
Like this part of the movie, they got right, not throwing him in jail, but wearing the correct clothing, like
It's very
is
important.
very important in basically any court. Like you,
It's a
in
sign
your,
of respect.
in your office, you will like every time I'd go to my office, I would have like a blazer hanging there
Yeah.
because just in case.
Oh, same.
I,
I
had
have
to
I
run
have
to
two.
court on like emergency matter.
You never
I
know.
have to throw a
Yeah.
blazer on over my like work dress, and like,
Yeah.
the only time that like those rules ever relax is like. Which I've had the experience. It's like when you're 8.5 months pregnant,
Yes.
going to court, and suddenly you're
And
just
you're
like wearing an
waddling on
oversized
in.
sweater
Yeah.
and leggings and Uggs, and the court does not care because you are so pregnant. They're like,
They-
whatever,
they-
wear whatever you
They
want.
just don't want you to go into labor
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
courtroom.
I've had a judge be like, "Why are you here?" I'm like, "I don't know. Tell me why I'm here."
They
but,
do.
Let's
No
get
jail.
into the
No
let's
jail.
get into this expert witness,
Yeah.
like the let's
The
get into the
expert
tire
witness is
tracks
great.
of it all.
Yes.
Yeah.
So first of all,
The culmination of it all.
and
really.
this is like it starts with I was frustrated about like the discovery issues. Like, you know, I mean, the tire tracks, like they're talking about a comparison and the timing and
Yeah.
circumstances of that. Like when did you do a test drive? Why wasn't it disclosed?
But wait, it actually starts
And
even
then
earlier than
prosecutor Trotter, Jenny, what does he say?
that. Identical.
Identical.
Listen, it
Best
starts
line.
even earlier than that, right?
Okay.
It starts when prosecutor Trotter, the night before,
Oh,
calls
yes.
Vinny and says, "Ha ha ha! I got new evidence."
You're like, ha, what?
You did a test drive overnight, the night before court. That's not allowed. You're not coming into court.
No.
Last night I was doing a test drive.
Hey, I had a fever dream. And
Like what?
But so Vinny says, "Hey! I know the rules now. You're required to share all this. It's called disclosure."
I actually was mega impressed by that.
and this guy says, "I only just got it myself tonight." No, you didn't. You hired an expert. Like
Right.
this expert didn't just like
He didn't come to your door and
Sir.
say, "Hey, guess what? I
Guess
decided
what
on
I
my
did."
own to do
yeah,
this."
right. He was a traveling
No.
expert.
no.
Right.
You hired an expert who did a job,
Sir.
and you were supposed to have produced this. I mean, again, maybe he finished it right this very moment. But again, this goes back to primal fear and double
Yes.
jeopardy and all of this. We are not doing discovery in the middle of the trial.
And
If
the
we're
judge
hiring an
allows the
expert-
tire tracks. Like,
Well, right.
evidence.
So Trotter says the judge is going to have no choice but to admit it. The judge has every right not to admit
has
it.
very much a choice and shouldn't admit it.
And in fact, Vinny.
And that was actually where I had a huge problem. Like at that point, you're talking appeal,
Yeah,
everything.
now I'm like,
well, Vinny.
declare a mistrial now.
absolutely.
Vinny objects and clearly quotes like line for line, word for word, the rule about the discovery and the expert witness and all of that. And the judge is very impressed. Overruled.
Why? Give like I was like angry. Like
that
I was
was
just
well
like yelling
thought out.
at the TV.
That was recent.
Intelligent?
Overruled.
What's the basis for the overruling? Like what? Like just
Right. I think, again, this is where Vinny's inexperience comes in, because if that happens, then you say, Judge, please explain for the purposes of the record.
you have the right to ask
Absolutely.
for that.
Appeal.
You have the right to ask for that for the purposes of the record, like you said. But that again, it's like one of those things like you can know the rules, but until you're practicing enough, you don't realize
know.
what you can and
don't know.
cannot do.
Correct. Right.
And so yes, that was infuriating. And then we get to the best scene of the movie.
So we get this expert witness who says tire tracks match the tire tracks of the car. The expert witness is admitted as
An expert.
an expert. He doesn't have the right to.
Did you have a problem with him being admitted as an expert
Of
witness?
course I did. He wasn't
Why?
properly qualified. He just asked him, like, who are you? And he said, I'm so-and-so. That's it. But Vinny had the right to cross-examine him. Vinny had the
didn't.
right to voir dire the witness.
Voir dire.
And
Voir dire.
I said this to you guys before we started recording. I watched this movie when I was a kid, long before law school. And I watched it multiple times. And I, for the longest time, thought that voir dire was the correct way to say it.
Isn't it?
And until I actually got to law school, I was like, it's voir dire.
And then one day someone called on you, a professor called on you, you're like, voir
Oh, that
dire.
would have been great.
Oh, no, that actually, thank God, never happened. But I, for the longest time, thought that the right way to say it was voir dire.
Well,
Guys,
you
it's
know,
voir
law
dire.
schools are now using My Cousin Vinny as an example.
Yeah.
Snippets of
Yeah.
things to do in.
When things not to do.
Well, I think, but honestly, I think more what
Things
to
to do.
do for
Yeah.
Just
cross
because compared to
examination
any other
purposes
courtroom movie,
Yeah.
like this
I
one does
love
get
it.
way more right
Yes.
than the others do,
Yes.
but it's not
Still
without
gets
its
a lot
faults.
wrong.
Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So,
But it's a great teaching, learning moment.
yes. So he's admitted as an expert witness, and Vinny really only gets 1 hour for lunch to prep his cross examination to figure out
And they're
how the
looking
hell
at
he's gonna win this
pictures,
case.
and he's trying to figure it out.
And by the way, now the judge knows that Jerry Gallo is dead. Now that he knows, now he's looking up to see Jerry Callow.
Right.
Vinny's on
And
a time crunch.
He is
Which, by
definitely
the way,
on a time crunch.
going through
Mona
that-
Lisa is basically trying to help, harassing him, and
But also, she's also reminding him about her.
biological clock.
Yes. Wait, going back to the name confusion, like you have like the first time he has to explain it away, he's like, oh, you know, I was like, I had to use a different name. I had a stage name. But
that
you
makes
have
zero
to
sense.
practice
Right.
under the name you're admitted on.
Yes.
You can't be like, I actually have like a
Yes.
pseudonym. Like, no.
Although, to be fair, I did do a name change because when
No,
I
of
graduated law school, I had my maiden
But
name,
that's
and then I
fine,
got
but then
married.
if
We
you
all
did a
did.
name
Yeah,
change.
I did that
Yeah.
too after I graduated law school, and I've been practicing for a few years.
Yeah.
I got married. I had
Yeah.
to, but you literally have to send your marriage certificate to the
Yeah.
bar.
Yeah.
Hold on a
Association of
minute.
the
Even if
States.
he did a name change, why was he practicing under Jerry Callow in New York, but he's back to Vincent Gambini in
Right.
Alabama?
Right.
If you're Jerry Callow in New York, then you should be practicing as Jerry Callow in
You
Alabama.
can't just
You
pick and
should
choose.
be.
You
Right.
should pick and choose.
So anyway, he is on
No aliases? Is that what you're telling me?
He is
No?
on borrowed. He's truly on borrowed time. And as the judge says to him, you have a stay of execution because the clerk's supposed to call him back after
Right.
3 p.m.
Right.
So he is trying to figure this out. He's got nothing. Like he doesn't know how to cross-examine him. Like he's dead in the water until he sees these two photographs that Lisa has taken.
Yep.
One with a pile of dog shit next to it that he
Yeah.
made fun of her for.
Yeah. Oh,
and,
dog shit. Great.
and he realizes that the tire tracks are in fact different, right? And he tries to get Mona Lisa. He tries to get Lisa on the stand.
Okay, she ain't having
And she's
it.
like, nah.
No, because she's mad at him. He was rude to her. He was, and you know what? He was really
He
rude to her.
was
She was just trying to
very
help.
hurtful.
He was really, really rude to her.
But also, there's like two kids' like lives at stake here. Come on.
True.
Right,
True.
right. So he tries to get her on the stand, and he basically drags her down there.
Oh my God.
First of all,
You're not allowed to drag a witness onto the
you're
stand.
not allowed to drag a witness. She's not an expert witness by any means. Like you can't just qualify her this way. It's improper.
General automotive knowledge.
Right. Also, he says, do I have permission to treat her as a hostile witness? You think I'm hostile? Wait till you see me tonight.
I love that. So good.
he can't put his fiance on the stand. That's another
Do you
conflict
know what
of
this
interest.
woman is? And then
Conflict of interest.
Well, that explains the hostility.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm his fiance.
In real life, that would have never, like, she would have
No.
never been on the stand for
No.
a multitude of reasons.
No.
And the prosecutor
No.
and the judge would have put
And
a
then,
stop to it.
Mr. Trotta, would you like to voir dire the witness?
The voir diring was, I mean, obviously, for purposes
Like, he
of
just has to,
cinematic
like, a
purposes,
trivia
but the
question.
cinematic purposes, it's like one of the most iconic scenes in
Amazing.
movie history.
Amazing.
But for legal purposes, nah.
Nah.
No. He asks her a question about a car, and she's like, "It's a bullshit question.
I
because
can't answer
This
that.
doesn't exist. And
Can't
this
answer
It's a bullshit question because you don't know the answer. No, it's a bullshit question.
Yeah. So good.
It's very good. But basically, on that knowledge alone, she gets admitted as an expert witness.
I mean, it was pretty damn impressive.
It was highly impressive.
Still, though,
But it would never happen in court. It was
well,
highly
and I mean,
impressive.
quite frankly, though, he asks a question that he doesn't know the answer to.
True.
So neither he nor the judge know
Correct.
whether she gave the right answer.
oh, I
And
thought that
and-
he purposely gave the bullshit question.
No,
Uh-uh.
he had no idea that it was
Not a
bullshit question.
clue. Not a clue.
He thought he was giving her a proper question that she just didn't know how to answer. But
Right.
she said to him, no, it's a trick question.
Right.
Because what you're asking me.
Oh, it didn't
could
come out
never
until a
happen.
later
Yeah,
year.
yeah, yeah.
But
It
I
didn't
actually
exist.
thought that.
But if
he
it was
knew-
this, it
I
would have
actually
been
thought
da, da,
that-
da, da, da,
I thought
right?
he knew he was giving her a
No,
trick
I
question.
What was it? Something zero
No,
dent
no, no.
tap center?
Because
I
when
don't know.
when she actually answered it and was like, it's a trick question, like you're full of shit. He looked like embarrassed and was like, never mind, she's in.
Yeah.
Bye. Like he had no idea that he was giving her a bullshit question.
Right.
So
Was
he's,
it? Oh yeah. In 1964, the correct ignition timing would be 4 degrees before top dead center. Yeah. So
so
she sounded great. Nobody knew if it was the right answer.
So he's trying to get her to basically say that there was, in fact, it was another car. It was a totally different car. And of course, there's her like famous line.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. And also,
The
no,
defense is wrong.
but she explains why the defense is wrong, that it was different tire tracks, that it was made by a different car, a very similar car. But
Not a Chevy Camaro.
no, Pontiac Tempest. Right. It was made by a Pontiac Tempest. In any
Buick
case,
Skylark.
Buick Skylark.
And
That's
the Pontiac Tempest.
That's right. And she explains it. And the prosecutor listens to
She's
it.
fantastic.
She's so good.
Same height, same width,
I mean,
same length.
That's the scene
and
that
they
won her
both
the Oscar.
came in
Yes.
metallic mint green.
Right. And by the way, he asks for literally 5 minutes before he puts her on the stand, right? And he runs out and he finds the sheriff. And he asks the sheriff, he like scribbles him a note or something.
That bothered me.
It's because it's highly inappropriate.
But no, it bothered me that the sheriff was like, I'm not working for you. Do your own research.
But hold on a minute, isn't the sheriff right?
About what?
That he doesn't work for
yeah.
Vinny.
I mean, yes,
But
but
then he says,
he
like-
works for the public, and it really pissed me off that he was like giving him that attitude.
No, but I don't think he's allowed to do that. So taking it back with the sheriff for just a second, the sheriff sat next to the prosecutor for most of the trial.
Yeah.
And why? You can't do that. I'm presuming you're calling the sheriff as a witness at some point. And didn't he call the sheriff as a witness? I don't
He did.
remember.
He did.
That's
at the
right. He
beginning.
did.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't have the witness sitting next to you listening to all the testimony of all the other witnesses. So the sheriff should not have been sitting there in the first place.
Correct.
But then the sheriff is the prosecutor's witness.
Right.
And Vinny just runs up to him and says, hey, I need you to look this up for me. And as we find out, he was looking up to see whether that particular car that he figured out left the tire tracks
Right.
was stopped somewhere else, right? That's discovery.
That's
that Vinny
discovery
should have been
that-
doing.
Right. And also, the prosecutor should have had time with this evidence, preparing, making sure that it's. I mean, I know it's from the the sheriff looked it up, but like authenticate.
But and then the sheriff gets the information and sort of nods to Vinny, and Vinny's like, "Great, I'm bringing him back on the
That
stand."
made me laugh
I
so much,
know.
though. He gets him on the stand and he goes, Sheriff, what do you got?
What do you got? Right, like he has no idea what he found out.
Nothing.
He like he
And,
could
and
have
the
found
prosecutor, like, I mean, no one is like,
objecting to anything.
oh God.
No one's
There's
objecting
so
to anything.
much.
And then the sheriff goes up there and says, I decided to take another look.
Correct.
Uh-huh.
He said.
Right.
He said.
The
"I
whole
made
thing
the
went off the
decision."
rails
That's-
procedurally
yeah,
at the
it's
end.
perjury.
Correct.
Completely nuts.
Totally. Thank you, Josh. Are you a
Josh,
lawyer?
like, you should be a lawyer.
Really good.
It is perjury. Josh has pointed that out. He said, I
I
decided.
didn't know it was perjury. I just thought he was taking credit for Vinny's idea.
well-
No. I think he was saving Vinny's ass.
I know, but he's lying on a stand.
Yeah, he is. But
No,
I think
thought he was saving his own ass.
I think
Either way, he's lying.
I think honestly, I think it was.
I was asked by
I don't know. I
Mr.
wasn't as hung
Gallo.
up on that.
I think because here's the thing. I think that once he did the research and once he realized that
What
in fact,
motivated
it was
him was
another
not going to be
car.
as much of a factor.
But once he found the information, once you realize that in fact this other car was then pulled over and
they
And they
like,
found
weapons.
the gun.
He then-
right.
And
Correct.
the 2 people that they found in
Match
the
the
car
description
match the
of-
description of
So
also
I
these,
think
like,
at that point the sheriff
defendants.
realizes, hey, we got the wrong guys. And so I think at that point it becomes a sort of like redemption arc for the sheriff, right? And he essentially is number one saving Vinny's ass, but also doing the right thing, right?
But also,
and
like, that's not how the
prosecuting
case would
wrong
end, though.
Kids. I mean, this is serious business.
The case wouldn't end like that.
Well, the prosecutor then stands up and says, in light of the evidence,
No,
and
you don't do that.
he says, in light of the evidence, we are dismissing all charges. And everyone is
Not how that happens, right? And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful moment, but it's not how it happens.
and everyone's very excited, and Vinny wins the case.
Order in the court.
And he wins the case because he basically proves that yes, there were 2 other guys in a like
who look
one-
the same as these guys.
in the same freaking car or a similar car look
Still
exactly
not
the
proof
same.
positive.
But it's enough.
It's
to,
a lot of circumstantial evidence,
is.
but I don't think you just dismiss the charges without taking a look at what else is happening.
Yeah,
you know.
right.
On the murder weapon.
They did. And
But
it
did
was,
they have time to do ballistics on that murder
No, but
weapon?
I think they said it was like a whatever gun.
same,
It's the make of gun,
caliber.
the caliber gun. Yeah.
Yeah. So they clearly have the wrong guys, but it just the way that it happens so very quickly and so very dramatically
Yeah.
likely would not. Again, barring the Alec Baldwin case. But then he says, "All right, Mr. Gambino, I need to see you in chambers because now
Yeah.
he's heard from the clerk,
right.
right?
So panic moment for Vinny.
Right, and he goes in there and he's like prepared to be arrested again because there is no Jerry Callow.
Well, no, he doesn't go in there. He runs.
He assumes. Well, he tries to run, but then he
He's
says,
trying to run out of the courtroom
Yeah.
as fast as he can.
right, but then the judge is like, "Come on down," and he sticks his arms out because he knows he's about to get arrested
Right.
because
Yeah.
there is no Jerry Callow. He's
Right.
fully
He's yeah.
misrepresenting himself and also pretending that he was the other guy for a
Yep.
while. And we find out, hey, there is a Jerry Callow. Jerry Callow's been practicing for 16 years. What do you know? And
He's like, I owe you an apology.
shakes his hand
I'd like to
Can
shake
we
your
explain-
hand.
Can we explain why he couldn't just go with his original name? Like he's
because there's no record of him ever having tried a case. And he told the judge he's been practicing for 16
right. So
years.
he should
But
have
there
lied
wouldn't
about
have
that.
been a
It's not
record.
like it's not like you not having tried a case precludes you from trying a case.
That's true.
You're admitted.
That's true, but I guess the judge was trying to. So the judge was trying to gauge in that very initial conversation
How
whether
much
or not,
experience
how much
he had.
experience, and whether you're qualified to try a capital murder case, right? And so that's not really the line of questioning, though. The line of questioning should have been, how can I admit you to practice in the state of Alabama?
Do you have a sponsoring attorney? Do you have a motion you are submitting to proceed?
But basically,
prosecution?
then Vinny just kept digging and digging and digging and digging his own hole.
So ridiculous.
So he's like ecstatic, right? He's like, I won the case. The boys are not being fried. Now we can get married because they decided they were going to get married when he wins his first case. I have no idea how this Jerry Callow exists. And as we find out, Lisa calls
His good friend.
his good friend, a judge in Brooklyn. And the judge in Brooklyn, I guess, sends a letter saying that this Jerry Callow has been practicing for 16 years and is an excellent attorney.
Like at some
I mean,
point,
it's a great moment.
You know, at
but
some point, this is all
but
going to get
complete BS.
This is eventually going to be discovered, right? Because there's always going to be records of this case and who the attorney was, and then like at some point when people have the internet, they'll be like, "This was all like a fraud."
It was very much a fraud.
Like at some point, this is all discovered.
You think anybody cares at that point, though?
I don't know.
I mean, they got
don't
the wrong
know.
guys. That's, I mean,
I
all's
guess
well
that's
that ends
true.
well.
But
I don't know.
Is he potentially then, when it is found out, is he potentially disbarred? Or
That's what I'm saying. I think he will be.
I
think he
think
would
so.
be. I think
Well,
that he
he's
tried.
never gonna get. He's never gonna do a case in Alabama again.
Well, it doesn't matter. I
don't
think
know
you
if it's-
try a case, even if it's outside the jurisdiction that you're like.
You think it's enough for New York to disbar
Oh my
him?
God, you are trying a capital murder case under false identity. I cannot imagine you're
under
not
false
getting
identity of a
disbarred.
dead guy?
Solid, but I was gonna say, I mean, Rudy, our dear
Yeah.
friend, the ex-mayor,
Oh.
faced disbarment for his actions in other states.
And
I
this
don't
is a
remember the
huge one. You are
details of
literally
that.
trying a case under false identity. Like, there's no way you're not getting
For all
disbarred.
those cases that he brought about, the election stealing and the fraud and the this and
he
that.
did that in other states.
He
I
did
don't
that in
remember.
other states, and New York brought him up for disbarment.
But was he
So-
disbarred?
He was.
He was?
he was.
I don't remember the outcome of that.
Yeah, I think he was.
There's too much happening that I can't keep track.
By the way,
I mean,
when you
I feel you, but yeah.
when you said our friend Rudy, I immediately thought of the football movie.
I thought that too. I was like, oh, that movie. I don't remember trial in that movie.
You guys are in movie mode. Wow.
Well, yeah, like you said, Rudy. Did you?
I literally thought of the football.
The Hobbit.
Yeah.
The Hobbit. Remember the Hobbit who plays football?
Yeah. Like that's literally
Sean
the image of my
Astin.
mind.
Sean
Yes.
Astin, right?
Yes.
Rudy Giuliani was disbarred in New York in 2024 for his actions related to false claims about the 2020 election. He was suspended in Washington, D.C., and D.C. later recommended disbarment as well.
Anyway, I do think that, yes, because of all of the misrepresentations, because of the fact that he was practicing
under a false identity.
Yeah.
Like,
I also think that if they would have lost, they would have obviously taken it up on appeal for ineffective counsel.
For sure.
And I think that there would have been tons of ethical violations that he would have
Oh
been brought
God,
up
yeah.
on.
Oh God. Yeah.
During the course of
but
his
you know, and I will
representation.
say, in terms of that, there's also so many ethical and procedural violations by the prosecutor, by the judge.
Yeah.
Like
It's true. Everybody screwed this thing up.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was amazing.
It was
Such
amazing.
a good movie.
An amazing movie.
Do you think she deserved the Academy Award?
Yes.
Yeah. I love
There's just a lot of
I
chatter.
honestly don't remember the.
I don't
I don't
even know who
remember
she
the
was up
competition. Right. I don't remember the competition.
Can we,
but-
now that we've sufficiently talked about the movie, can we now talk about our favorite scenes? of the
Fine.
movie?
I'll allow it.
Thank you so much. All right, you go first. You're obviously, yours
You
is
know
the
my
deer.
favorite scene is the deer.
The deer.
The
Of
deer.
course, I love that.
That's my number one favorite scene.
Yeah. How about
my
you?
second.
Oh, second. Yeah,
favorite
go on.
Is her testifying.
Yeah,
110%.
amazing. And then she does this.
Because I have I have.
Yes.
It's
Testimony
a
is
tough
my
one.
number one. I think it's just so iconic. I mean, I love the deer scene. I mean, I actually, we didn't talk about it, but all of his interactions with the locals, like when he's trying to get that money
Yeah.
that she like hustled.
Oh, yes.
Oh, the pool guy.
The pool guy.
Yeah,
and he ends up like,
yeah.
like there, all those interactions, like just the way that he's just like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
Yeah.
just like,
Yes.
I loved seeing those scenes,
Yeah.
but like, I mean, Lisa and the on the stand is just like one of the best movie scenes of all
real.
time.
My favorite is the fact that he can't get a good night's
Oh, that's
sleep.
funny.
And it's just all throughout, no matter where they're staying, there's something wrong. There's
Yeah.
like a steam whistle, there's pigs being slaughtered. And my favorite is the train that goes by. And I've told you guys this before. The train scene is so deeply ingrained in my just like.
Do you think about it every time
psyche.
you hear the train in our area?
1,000,000%.
Oh my God.
We
when
don't
it's-
live that far from like trains.
when it's late at night and it's like very quiet, there is a train that
can
goes
hear the
through the neighboring town,
yeah.
and you can hear it. I can hear it almost every night. And I swear to you, every single night, I say to no one in particular, there's no one around me, I say to myself, no, sir, it's very unusual. It usually comes in 10 after 4.
Yeah. By the way, that train, I never heard it. And then I was like, do you hear a train? And Alex was like, yeah, it comes every night. I was like, for how long? He was like, the last 8 years we've lived here. I was like, I've never noticed it. But I got to say, my number two, I think, I'm actually going to put as when he's cross-examining the guy with the photo and the trees. And
Okay.
shout him out.
Shout
and,
him out when
Yeah,
you
that was
go.
great. That was great.
I really love that. And also, we should mention two Utes. Like, that is, I think,
two Utes.
I don't know, Josh, if you never
what?
heard
Come
like
on.
that
What's
quote.
a Ute?
That's my dad's favorite quote.
Right.
He says
See?
that all the
You know
time.
what? That's like my dad's favorite quote too, and like he says it all the time. Two Utes.
Two what?
And we have to also acknowledge like the judge, like
He does try. I noticed on the rewatch that Vinny tries. He goes, Utes.
Utes.
Yeah, and then he says, the two defendants, and like gives the judge side eye. Like as the movie progresses, he gets like more and more comfortable with the judge. Like
Yeah,
when
he's
he
like
gives,
pushing back.
Right, like he gives the judge side eye.
And like even when he
says-
gets like tempted, he's like, "Good, I'll get a good night's sleep."
yes. Or when like when he's
Actually,
questioning
the best part, we did, Mrs. Riley and only Mrs. Riley.
and
I
the
love
judge
that.
and the judge has the like common
Like,
sense.
oh,
to
he's
compare.
chagrined.
Yeah.
But
So
the
there's like
judge
that
is-
funny dynamic between the two.
I
of them.
loved it.
Yeah.
Fred Gwynn is the judge.
Love
He
it.
was Herman Munster.
Yes.
He actually
Iconic.
died like soon after this
Yeah.
movie. Yeah, came out. I also want to note that Ralph Macchio is 30 years old when he filmed this movie,
Yeah.
or when the movie
Oh,
came
really?
out,
Oh,
and he was
okay.
playing an 18 to 19-year-old because they just graduated high school. They were
Okay.
going.
No.
No, it was
they
college.
They were in college.
They were going off to UCLA.
They were in NYU.
Oh, they
and they were
transferred. Whatever. They were like,
UCLA.
but like
So I
19,
would say
20.
early
college.
20.
Yeah.
He's 30. He does not look 30.
They're
He
young
looks like a
kids.
teenager.
No, I agree.
No, I
Yeah.
think we've already established he and Paul Rudd are like the
I feel like we're giving Paul Rudd a lot of credit. We don't give Ralph Macchio enough.
Yeah. They clearly drank
Yeah.
the Death Becomes Your Elixir.
Oh. Check out that episode.
True. Any more drops?
And what other drops that come, because it's such a good movie, and everyone's wanted this movie. We understand why you wanted us to handle this movie.
It's hands down probably.
I
my
think if you
favorite
ask
movie of all
any
time.
attorney,
Yeah.
especially any attorney of
Yeah.
our generation, what your favorite legal movie is, this has to be in the top.
Top, for sure.
If not your number one, your top three, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
It has to be.
I
It's
think
so
so.
iconic, and he's so good. I love everything. But I want to also point out, like, the Utes part, like, like him having an accent from a different like area, I don't think would have been as like it's almost
as
like
effective?
he's almost being like discriminated against. And think about like I've been in court where there's like other attorneys who have very thick accents, maybe they're like from a different country. Like at no point will a judge be like, "What? Like what are you saying?" Like you have to be like very respectful about those
Yeah.
things.
Well, I mean, again, it's all played for laughs, but it didn't sound to me like the judge was being disrespectful. It sounded like the judge was like, I don't know what you're saying.
But even the whole like you're New York, like this is not how it's done
So-
here.
It's also
Yeah.
1992.
Right. In
No
1992,
one's
we
being
were
politically
discriminating
correct.
against people from different parts of the
But
country.
you
That's
actually
true.
bring up a good point before we close this out. Should he have asked to change venue somewhere else? Because you've got remember the scene
what a
on the
good
bus.
point.
The scene on the bus where like that pretrial conference,
Yeah.
the first
Oh
time
my
he gets
God.
thrown into jail.
Right.
And Vinny asks no questions. Vinny does nothing. And they're sitting out on the bus and Ralph Macchio's like, you knew you could ask questions, right? Like, why didn't you just like get this case thrown out? And he says to him, you are an Alabama. You are from New York. You shot like the local clerk here. There is no way this is not going to trial. And I think that's absolutely accurate.
Right.
But also every single person in this town is now prejudiced against these two.
I would have
100%.
absolutely used that, even that statement, but just that general idea as a reason why a change of venue is proper. Like, Sixth Amendment, going back to it, also gives you the right to an impartial jury.
Yes.
You're not getting an impartial
You're
jury
not.
when you're fish
This
out of
is-
water. Like,
This
you know,
is a
like.
town. This is a town of like
Two young men from New York,
This is
right?
a town for like 25 people. Let's
Yeah.
be honest,
Yeah.
right?
And
you
murder
just-
of a local store
they all
clerk
knew
that
the
they all
clerk.
know.
Right.
you just murdered one of them.
Mm-hmm.
You think that this is an impartial jury that you're getting? And by the way, when they were voir diring the jurors, and the prosecutor was like, "Do you feel like you could give the death penalty?" And she was like, "Fry him." Shouldn't that have been an
110%.
Right. Like, what you're.
How about a automatic exemption
Right.
for that one?
Right?
Yeah.
Like Vinny
Yeah.
should have been like,
Right, like,
don't want
it.
and I think absolutely, like, just the bias against them in general, like the outsider bias, right? That would have been a basis for it. Now, I don't know if it would have definitely been granted a change of venue, but at least like it would have been something like a judge would say, like, okay, well, let's see if we could like pick an unbiased jury,
Yep.
and very clearly
First, and
in
then
that
when-
scene, you can't.
When you can't, then it's like, okay, we're going to transfer it to a neighboring county or something like that.
It didn't matter though. They had a biased judge.
Yeah,
True.
Because
Right.
he was constantly making you're in the South here. Like this is we do things differently.
Right.
He's making such a distinction between like these are two New Yorkers represented by a New Yorker, and you're in our land now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You
right.
are not getting an impartial trial.
You are not getting justice.
You're not getting justice.
Yeah.
You're not getting your like constitutional rights.
Nope.
this movie does everything for me.
Okay.
I don't care that we've ruined it. It will never be ruined.
It will
in my
never be
heart.
ruined.
It's the best.
It will never
I
be
love
ruined
it.
in my heart.
I can't. How many grits do you give it?
Oh my God,
Oh,
57.
all the
For
grits.
the law.
All
For
the
the law.
grits.
No.
Honestly, the
No.
law was so good, though.
Okay, I would say
Lot of
like it's
parts
probably
in it.
going to get our
I got a
highest.
higher.
It's not getting a 10 out of 10
No.
because of all the things that we just
8?
talked about for the last hour.
8.
No.
I would say
No, I'd say like a solid 5 or 6.
no. We've given 5 to like Legally
No,
Blonde.
seriously.
No.
No, I would say 7 for me. It as far as legal movies.
I'm still going with a 5 or 6.
5 or 6. All right, maybe.
Yeah, because the discovery, the venue, the just fucking all of it. Just all of it.
I mean,
Like, honestly,
sure.
it probably shouldn't even be less than 5. But truly, I love it
I
so
can't
much.
do it.
I'm grading
I
on a
will
curve because
never-
of all the other
Exactly.
shitty movies that like
Well,
don't
and
know how
because
to
maybe
I feel
work
like
the
it
law.
balances out at a certain point.
With the cross-examination of it all.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Guys, thank you so much.
Yes.
We really hope you enjoyed
This
this.
was a really enjoyable one for
Yes.
us. I hope you enjoyed it.
I mean, totally fangirling.
Oh my God.
This is just.
Tell us your favorite quotes. We'll maybe reenact them.
And
for
if there
you.
are other movies that you'd like us to tackle, like we would, I keep scaring my brain being like other legal movies because like we do handle a lot of non-legal movies
Yeah,
and
for
pick them
sure.
apart for law.
In fact, we're going to do a very non-legal one next.
Very non-legal, but it's a golden movie.
Oh my God, we're going to go up, up, up.
oh Christ!
Can you guess? It's so not legal. But it's really fun to be able to, once in a while, handle a legal movie. So if you
Yes.
think of another legal movie you want us to tackle,
Yeah,
let us know.
Absolutely. And in the meantime, follow us, hit like, subscribe on Instagram, on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple
Let's
Podcasts.
Ruin It podcast.
I love that you remember
Find us.
all of those things.
I have to. It's my job.
Find us where we are.
It's my job.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.